Hey everybody, this is Dust for Dust on Gaming, doing a replay of the Undefeated League here from a couple days ago. A couple people requested that I do the thing, so we're gonna do the thing. It's these five, I believe. Yeah, this was all from today. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start with this league. All right, so first round. See what we're up against here. We're on the play, which is a good start. This hand's pretty good. 2 lands, bunch of spells, 1 drop, about perfect here. Especially with an Inspiring Vantage. Lead on Goblin Guide, swing in. Opponent shows us a Noble Hierarch. They play out Noble Hierarch, which doesn't tell us a whole lot. Go ahead and Lava Spike? Oh, Lava Spike, Suspend Rift Bolt. Alright, so up against Counters Company. Plays a Devoted Druid. Go ahead and kill the Devoted Druid, because that's the most important card in their deck. Go ahead and Scold up Skullcrack here. They play another Devoted Druid. Go ahead and Boros Charm and end step. And then attack. They don't block. Go ahead and Skullcrack for the win. Game 2. So this is a matchup that can be, especially on the draw, can be a bit of a stretch depending on how many Kitchen Finks', Knights of Autumn effects they have. We boarded out Boros Charms and Lava Spikes, brought in 4 Path to Exile, 2 Lavamancer, 2 Searing Blood. You want all your creature answers, and then you board out some amount of stuff that doesn't interact with creatures. So you leave in Lightning Helix over Boros Charm because Lightning Helix can at least answer a creature. This hand, not the greatest. I believe it ends up being a mulligan. Yes. This hand, a little bit better. Can't remember if I keep that land or not. Probably not. Go ahead and get this thing rolling. They play Scavenging Ooze. We draw Searing Blood, which is like one of the best draws there. Opponent goes Militia Bugler. That's fine. Go ahead and shock this in. Path this to get some damage in. Start getting some damage in here. Play Eidolon. Our opponent plays Collected Company. It's Forge Tender and Devoted Druid. We go ahead and go to attacks. They block. We Skullcrack them. And then we play out Lavamancer, and then they untap. And they have infinite mana, and they show us a payoff here, so I'm just going to let them fast forward. They Court of Calling for Duskwatch Recruiter, and that's pretty much game, as long as they still have any type of mana sink in their deck. Alright, so that's how you can lose the game. They can punk you out with a combo. Obviously we ramped them when we were trying to pressure them, but that's life. Opening hand, once again, very much like game 1. We have a couple interactive spells and bolts. We have a couple Skullcracks for their life gain spells. And here we go. Go get a basic island, attack. They show us Court of Calling. They shock in. They play Forge Tender. We attack. They block. They still didn't learn their lesson from game 1. Skullcrack to kill it. Play Duskwatch Recruiter. Go ahead and bolt their guy. Get in with this. They show Collected Company. We pay Eidolon. They play Vizier of Remedies. We find Path. Path or Dude. Get in for 4 here. Passes. We play out Goblin Guide. They go to Collected Company here. We go ahead and Skullcrack them in response to the trigger. And then they go to blocks and they're dead on board. So, pretty good balance of spells in that matchup. Like I said, the matchup can be close, but generally speaking, especially in the post-board games, You generally have the tools to beat them as long as they don't have like their really good draws. So, okay, match number 2. I believe this match is Naya Zoo. They're basically trying to do what we do, but with more creatures and a little bit more painful mana base. So you got to manage their creatures as about good as possible. Double Sacred Foundry, not the best start, but we go ahead and keep it. Opponent fetch shocks, plays on the Coddle. Go ahead and just play the Swiss Spear. They bolt. Get in for 2 here. Shock in, Searing Blaze their dude. They play a Pellet Collector. Go ahead and play an Eidolon out. Have to shock in, they take 2. Pellet Collector gets bigger, they play a Bushwhacker. Get in for a bunch of damage here. Go ahead and block to save some damage since they've already dropped themselves too low, and we definitely have the tools to beat them here. Suspend Rift Bolt. Hold up Lightning Helix here. They go for a Tarka's Command. We go ahead and just bolt them for the win. On to game 2. So, once again, creature-based matchup. They do have stuff like Lightning Helix, so they do have some tools in the matchup. We board out Boros Charm and Eidolon. So this is a case where I board out Eidolon on the draw because their best draws involve like Burning Tree Emissaries and stuff on turn 2, and by then Eidolon's kind of a liability. And then obviously I board out Boros Charm because it doesn't interact with creatures. So we bring in the 4-Path, the 2 Grim Lavamancer, the 2 Searing Bloods. You know, pretty much creature deck, same drill. Look at our opening hand here. We have no creatures, but we have a couple ways to interact with their... Sorry about that. We have a couple ways to interact with our creatures, with Bolt and Searing Blaze here, so it's important to be able to interact with the creatures. We also have a way to prevent their life gain. Like I said, they usually have to shock themselves, so... Opponent plays a Vexing Devil. Go ahead and take the 4 here. Experiment 1. Bolt their face. Searing Blaze their dude. They're already down to 11, so here we hold up Lightning Helix in case they have a nutso turn. They don't, and then we untap and kill them. So not much of a not much of a game, that's for sure. Match number 3. Yeah, that's not a great one. This one. I guess this is the one. Yeah. Don't remember what this particular matchup is. I think this might have been the mono-white Death and Taxes list with like a Pocrocite in it. Look at our opener. Got a couple bolts, a couple Eidolons. A lot of matchups, this is a perfectly fine, reasonable opening hand. Opponent leads on land. Ether Vial, not the best. We suspend a Rift, or get in with Goblin Guy, that was a nice draw. They show us another Ether Vial. Ether Vials tick up. Hopefully this freeze stops here. Good old Magic Online, you know you want to play. Alright, so basically this game goes down to opponent plays a whole bunch of Ether Vials, plays a bunch of stuff off those Ether Vials, and we kind of get locked up with spells. They're able to answer a couple of creatures, and we don't have enough burn spells to kind of kill them here. They play out stuff like Apocryphite, which forces us to 2-for-1 ourselves, get it off the board, because it's a 4/4 coming in off Ether Vial. Then they play like Hero Bladehold and stuff like that, so it's a bit of a mess. I sideboard out the 4 Eidolons and the 4 Lava Spikes against creature-based deck, bring in the 4 Pass, bring in the 2 Searing Bloods and the 2 Grim Lavamancers. This hand's pretty good against a creature-based deck. I wish I had a fetch land to go with Scrim Lavamancer, but overall you can't usually pass up Swift Spear into Searing Blaze or Swift Spear into Double Spell. So the pain is a little bit annoying to have to take 2 of our 2 opening Sacred Foundries here, but go ahead and play out that. I probably should have suspended Rift Bolt there, but I wanted to maintain access to this. Alright. Well, apparently we can't do replays that involve the card Ether Vial for whatever reason. So this matchup, we end up winning Game 2 and Game 3 by kind of white-walling the creatures. Match number 4. This is Sultai Mill. And one of Mill's ways to punk us out is Archive Trap. And we got lucky that our particular draws did not involve fetch lands with a couple inspiring advantages here. Pretty good curve overall, no Searing Blazes, so a lot of good tools in this matchup. Go ahead and lead on Goblin Guide here. Trigger reveals a glimpse of the unthinkable. Only one deck pretty much runs that. Opponent, we know not to fetch unless we absolutely have to. They have a Fatal Push there, so we go ahead, suspend the Rift Bolt. Opponent plays out Mesmeric Orb. We go ahead and bolt their face. Opponent never uses the extra pate they drew, which is kind of whatever here. We play out Eidolon. That's a bit of a problem for them. Once again, key here, don't crack the fetch land. Go ahead and get in some damage here. So the reason I didn't play out Swift Spear there is A, I don't want to crack land, B, I want to hold up Skull Crack it if all possible. So draw a land. Continue pressuring our opponent. We still have the option to Skull Crack if we absolutely have to. Our opponent casts Visions of Beyond, realizes they're dead. Sideboarding. So we board out all the Searing effects, boarded in the 3 copies of Wear Tear and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The 3 copies of Wear Tear, and what else do we board in? Firecrafts aren't in our deck right now. Oh, I brought in Rest in Peace for... This is kind of a weird one. I brought in Rest in Peace for Crypt Incursion, and also cards like their various surgical effects if they're still in their deck, but primarily to try to blank the card Crypt Incursion, which is like their #1 tool. And obviously, Wear Tear comes in against things like Mesmeric Orb, any type of random ley lines they might have. So it's kind of why I brought in, because they already showed us Mesmeric Orb. So I go ahead and keep this hand. Once again, we don't have to fetch, which is nice. They're a 3-color mill deck, which makes them even slightly worse against our deck. Continue to pressure them here with Swift Spear. Play another Swift Spear, attack for 2. Oh, and Staring Bridge was the other reason I brought in Wear Tear, because that's certainly a card they can, that is Trapmaker's Snare, to go find Archive Trap. Glimpse the Unthinkable. Go ahead and Rift Bolt them here. Go ahead and get in for some damage here. Play out our Eidolon, suspend our Rift Bolt, get to use all of our mana here, and that's pretty much game. Because next turn... Next turn we get to Rift Bolt them, deal them 7... Sorry, 6, 3, 5, 7, 9. Just lethal on turn 4. So opponent goes ahead and scoops it up. And then our 5th and final match is one of the tighter matchups. Ironically, in the next league, I end up playing the same deck in slightly different terms. So this is blue-red Thing in the Ice control. This hand's pretty reasonable against most decks. Obviously, it's a keep. Go ahead and get a basic mountain. Start attacking with Swift Spear. They lead on Serum Visions. Play out another Swift Spear here. Braid one of our guys. We Rift Bolt their face. Get in for 2 here. Play an Eidolon. They bolt our. Play a Thing in the Ice. Go ahead and do this. Go ahead and play out an Eidolon. Suspend a Rift Bolt. Opponent goes ahead and takes damage. We swing in. They block. Go ahead and pass here. They cryptic. Bounce our dude. We go ahead and Boros charm their face. Put them to 1. Go ahead and attack with this thing. Play out the Eidolon. They play Opt. They play Snapcaster. They Lightning Bolt. Put us to 9. And then they play Cryptic Command. Bounce my guys. Get in for this. Can't really attack. Go ahead and play Eidolon to make sure they can't counter anything. And then Searing Blaze them. So that was game number 1. Game number 2, sideboarding in this matchup. Sideboarding in the matchup, we bring in 2 Pat to exile and 2 Exquisitive Firecraft against the counterspell deck. Board out the 4 Searing effects because they don't always line up against what you're trying to kill. And Thing in the Ice is their biggest pain in the butt. This is a pretty good hand here. Put pressure on our opponent. Plus a bunch of burn spells, although having Lightning Helix against the potential Blood Moon deck's not exactly ideal. Go ahead and get this in. Revealed cards an island. Put them to 17 here. They play Serum Visions. So no Thing on the Ice on 2. They bolt our dude. Show us Thing in the Ice. We Helix them while they're tap low. They still don't play Thing in the Ice. We play an Eidolon. They have a Logic Knot for it. They play Chandra, which is kind of an interesting one for a counterspell-based deck. Interesting, I mean, not the best choice of things, but, you know, I'm sure they have their reasons. Go ahead and play this Eidolon out. This forces them to down-tick their Chandra, which I don't know if that was the right move. I honestly think that Chandra ultimate was much more threatening than some of the other stuff. They're keeping their mana up as much as possible. Plays Opt. Continues to hit their land drops. We continue to get Chandra domed. They continue to tap low. We go ahead and Helix them while they're a little low on mana. Continues to dome us with their Chandra. Anger of the Gods. Flip their thing here. Go ahead and Rift Bolt them. They have to tap low for Cryptic Command. Lava Spike, which makes me suspect that their hand was like Dispel or something along those lines. So that was pretty much our 5-0. Some of the matchups were a little bit close, but beyond that, none of them were like overly complicated. Blue-red Thing in the Ice was definitely probably the closest of the 5 matchups. A couple of the other matchups we lost some games just to some factors like not knowing exactly what the heck our opponent was on, or our draws didn't line up right, or we had double Eidolon against a triple Ether Vial draw. You know, just little stuff here and there. You know, that's ideally how the deck performs in its best situations. Obviously, there are times where you keep riskier hands; they don't pay off. So sometimes, every deck has its good things and its bad things. It was obviously 5-0. Got some pretty decent matchups, on top of our cards lining up for the most part. So just wanted to do a quick recap on the 5-0. Sorry we didn't get to see the mono white Death and Taxes matchup, but like I said, key is learn to manage the Ether Vials as best you can. Don't leave your Eidolons in against Ether Vial decks. There are definitely some games where they can win you the game, but if your opponent hits, if your opponent hits Ether Vials and you're sitting with Eidolons, it can be a pretty miserable experience. So this has been Dust for Dusted On Gaming with a quick review of our 5-0 League number 4 in our October Treasure Chest Challenge. This one put us up to 17, and the next league, which I'll record sometime here in the next day or so, put us up to 18 chests. It was a 3-2 league. I'll kind of talk about some of the ways, like some of the risky hands I kept and stuff that maybe cost us to go 3-2. So, this has been Dusk for Dusted On Gaming with League number 4 of our October Challenge, and current record of 16-4 after this particular league. So 17 treasure chests. That's where we stand. This has been Dusk for Dusted On Gaming. Thanks for tuning in.